Live on Facebook and YouTube. Good morning everybody on Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully you can hear us okay. We're going to do a little bit of work. We're continuing with our theme of balance today, but we're going to do a little bit of work looking at the core in inverted commas and belly breathing in inverted commas, because it was a great question that Christine has asked. So we'll just have a little explore of that. We will do a little bit of floor work maybe halfway through the session. So if you've got a floor handy, hopefully all of us have got a floor handy, but if you've got a little bit of space where you're not going to get stood on or run over by dogs or children or plants or anything, then just be aware, just be comfortable that you'll have that little bit of space on the floor. If not, don't worry, you can just watch, and then it's something you can go away and practice as well. Let's start off by our usual bit of warm-up. So come to a comfortable standing position, and we'll start off with a little bit of shaking. So just gentle shaking. If you've just woken up, we're just starting to get mobile, then just take it easy. If, like some of you, you might have been out for your morning run or morning walk, then you can maybe just do a little bit more. If you feel comfortable just tapping the heels into the ground, then you can just tap the heels into the ground. And just relax the shoulders, neck, soften the belly. And just keep tapping. I'm just going to take my socks off so I can feel the ground properly. And then slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Just find that balance. Feel any nice tingling sensation through the body. And let's do 3 big reaching up, opening up, bringing that energy down into the body. You can bend the knees a little bit, slide back a little bit, reach like a big nice morning stretch. You can breathe in through the nose. And it's like you're waking up in the morning. Breathing in through the nose. And relax. Soft one more time. Breathing in. And relax out. Pop your hands on your belly. So just cross palms, pop your hands on your belly. If you want to step in a little bit, just so you're a little bit more stable, so you can most probably go about hip width apart. And just take a moment again to find our balance. So let's check in with the feet and the heels. How do you feel the heels on the ground? The ball of the foot. And then just come up through the ankles, the lower legs, the knees. So the knees are soft, not locked out. So there's a difference between bending the knees and locking the knees out. Just keep the knees soft. So just a little bit of softness in the knees. Relax the thighs, the front of the thighs. Into the hips, and then just work your way up the spine, lengthening the spine, and get a sense of energy lifting through the crown of the head, lifting up to the sky. Relax the shoulders. Bring your attention now to the breath. Just notice really easy physical sensation as you breathe through the nostrils, as the air comes through the nostrils. And then just follow that thin thread of air as it goes down into the lower ribs, the lungs and the lower ribs here. And then just notice what happens with the hands on the belly as you breathe in. So again, just allow the breath. You're not breathing any particular way. You're not controlling the breath. You're just allowing the breath. So if you keep the belly soft, you just notice very slight rise. So I'm not having to physically do anything with my abdominal muscles or with my belly. Now just play around with how you are balanced. So say for example, what will happen if I push my hips forwards? Then what happens when you breathe in? So it's like the Ministry of Funny Walks. But just exaggerate, obviously without hurting yourself. So if you've got any problems, lower back or anything, then make sure you're not overarching that lower back. But feel the difference there. And then what happens if you pop your head forwards or you round your back? Feel the difference there. What happens if you lean forwards? Feel the difference. So it's all about exploring and feeling what it feels like in your body, because everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have maybe stronger abdominals or stronger glutes or stronger core. So it's always going to feel different in everybody's body. Nobody knows exactly what you are feeling in your body. So it's up to you to feel, and then bring yourself back to balance and find that sweet spot where, as we always work on, being lifted to the sky, lifted through the crown, and balanced and stable and strong through the feet. How, wow, that just works. Think of structure and flow, those two words that we always use. So the breath is just flowing down into the center. I'm not over keen on the term belly breathing because I see too many people trying to breathe with their belly. But actually, if you think of breathing into the center, all you're doing is bringing the focus down to that lower abdominal, or in Qigong, that point which is called your lower dantian. So you're just bringing the breath, you're just centering yourself. And the belly moving in and out a little bit there is just a consequence of that centering. Now, if you have the space or if you're comfortable, just come down onto the floor and just lie on your back. If you need a cushion, then do get a cushion if you want to support your head. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the floor, but I just want you to feel the difference when we're working in a different position in terms of gravity. So if you're on the floor, put your feet into a standing position, comfortably lie back, and then pop your hands again on that lower abdominal, and on lower abdominals, and the other hand on the sternum. So here, as you follow the breath, because we're not having to stand up, and because the spine is supported by the floor, you will be able to feel, usually be able to feel a little bit more that the belly, as you're breathing in, is just rising and falling. Now again, this may be dependent on the position of your head and your spine. So this is just a little example. So if you want to practice this on your own, maybe if you need the head raised a little bit,
then that might again open that flow, if you like, of the breath. So here you don't have to do any work with these abdominal muscles, because you don't need to, because we're supported by the floor. So you can just really let the belly go. Really relax the lower abdominals, the upper abdominals. Let the breath come into the side of the ribs. And again, you're just following the breath. We're not changing anything. I did a class yesterday afternoon with my friend and colleague Hannah Kirkman, and she teaches Restore the Core. And she's an excellent coach and was doing some excellent work yesterday. And interestingly, we're working on the belly breathing and the core stabilization today because of Christine's question. But one of the practices Hannah did with us yesterday, I'll do with you now, just very, very quickly, but to give you an example. So now what I'd like you to do is stabilize with the left leg, so the left foot is just aware of being in contact with the ground, and just gently lift that right foot off the ground. Now what we want to make sure is that we're not then changing the position of the pelvis or blowing the belly out. So if you just gently lift that right foot off the ground, bring that right knee towards the chest, you will feel a natural response or a natural engagement in those lower abdominals or in the abdominals or in the core. So really feel that engagement. Make sure that you're not pushing too much down to that left foot into the ground. So see if you can relax that left foot a little bit so it's just stabilizing. But you can feel the core kicking in, it's responding, it's reacting to that lift of that right foot off the floor. And then slowly lower that back down onto the ground. Just let the body relax. Now notice you don't need to do anything with those core muscles. And as you breathe in, the belly just naturally rises a little bit and naturally falls a little bit. And now stabilize with the right foot in contact with the ground and just gently lift the left foot a little bit off, bring the left knee towards the chest a little bit, and again feel what response you have in those lower abdominal muscles. And again, make sure that you're not putting too much weight through that right foot. It's very tempting to push that right foot in the ground to help, but see if you can get the core muscles engaging. So they are responding to the movement that you've just made. And then slowly lower that foot back down. And then in your own time, just roll over to one side and take your time just to come up onto hands and knees. Now if you need a cushion or anything, if you've got any problems with your knees, then just put a cushion under your knees. If this hurts at all, just watch what we're doing rather than try it. So I don't want to create any pain or any tightness or any tension. So you're just on all fours. You've got your knees underneath your hips and you've got your hands underneath your shoulders. Spread the fingers and make sure that you just keep that what we call a neutral spine, so there's just that little bit of dip in those lower abdominals. Now again, a little bit of a dip in the lower back, not lower abdominals, that was the wrong thing to say. So you've got that little bit of curve in your lower back. So you're not rounding or you're not arching your back. And just notice again the breath. So as you breathe,
Now here the belly can be soft, but at the same time, because we're the other way up, we've just flipped ourselves over, there needs to be a very subtle awareness to actually keep that spine in your neutral position. But I don't have to pull my belly in. I'm not having to pull belly button towards the spine or anything like that. Just the amount of engagement that you need to keep that spine in that neutral position. And then just gently rock forwards, keeping the spine neutral, and rock backwards, making sure that you're not rolling or tucking the pelvis. So again, keeping the spine neutral. And again, notice how you're breathing and notice what's going on in those lower abdominal muscles. So to keep that spine in a neutral position, those muscles are responding. It's not just a case of pulling the belly in. Those muscles are responding to your movement. And it's very easy just to go, right, I'll just pull my belly in and then I'll stop breathing. But actually you want the muscles to respond, but you still want to be able to breathe into your center or allow the breath into your center. And this is a really good place to breathe into the back of the body. So feel the back expand, just gently rocking forwards and backwards. And then come back to balance, where we've just got our hips over our knees and our shoulders over our wrists. And then just sit back a little bit, just to give yourself a little bit of a rest and give the hands a bit of a shake out. And then come back into that position. Again, if anything's hurting, if your wrists are hurting or your knees are hurting, then don't force or push anything in this position. Just take a little bit of a rest and just watch the next part of the practice. So balance there. And then I want you to tuck your toes underneath. And with a stabilization, just breathe in and then just lift the knees up. So you've got your shins parallel. Now you'll notice there's a lot more reaction or responsiveness from those lower abdominal muscles to keep the spine in a nice strong position. But can you hold that position but still breathe deep? Now there's no way you can push your belly in and out with that because you need the engagement of those abdominal muscles. But you can still breathe into the back of the body. Still feel you can get that diaphragm working a little bit. And then take a rest there. Safely put the knees back down to the ground. Come back up to sitting. So you could hear the change in my voice there, but you certainly couldn't think of belly breathing and pushing the belly out in that position, but you can still use the diaphragm, you can still breathe in that three-dimensional way. In your own time, take your time just to come back up to standing and give the body a little bit of a shake. So it's nice just to show the difference in responsiveness to these core muscles. But again, it's something that I want you all to go away and explore because everybody's going to feel things differently. But I think the key takeaway is that you don't just flatten your stomach. Anybody can stand there and go, right, yeah, look, I've got a really nice flat tummy, really flat stomach, pulling the abs in. But that's like using a really hard, strong bicep to go and pick up something really light off the floor. So it's the core is responsive to the movement that you make or your alignment with gravity, but the breath is always wanting to be towards the center, if that makes sense. So you want to breathe deep into the lungs, as in the best possible way for the position that you're holding or the movement that you are doing. Right, let us, for the last 10 minutes, just go back to some of the other balance stuff we've done, bearing that in mind. Remember, I said last week, if you've got a ball or anything, just to work on the foot. If you haven't got a ball or anything, just do those heel walkings and the ball of the foot. So just to really wake up the feet muscles, the foot muscles. If you've got a ball, then you can just gently rest it underneath the heel, and we'll go on the inside. So up the inside through to that bubbling spring area. So you can just roll it up to that bubbling spring and then roll it back, just nice and gentle. And just roll back and forth. People often ask me, can I do this sitting down? So that I don't think there's no harm in doing it sitting down, but actually, again, we want to think of this whole structure. So you can actually think of that releasing any tension in the calf, any tension up the hamstring, all the way through the spine, all the way through the crown of the head. So just roll it front and back, and then you can go to the outside and then just roll gently. Roll gently. So this is a nice ball because it's got those little bobbly bits on, and it's got a little bit of give, so it's quite soft. Or you can use, this is like a lacrosse ball, which is quite tight, heavy, quite solid, so that's quite a nice one as well. But the great thing is you're in control. You can put whatever pressure you feel you need on there, but it's just to get that plantar fascia malleable, all of that tissue underneath the foot working. And again, the point we talked about last week on that bubbling spring, that's really nice, just to give it a little roll in the bubbling spring area there, or bubbling well, just underneath the ball of the big toe. So play around with that. It's nice just to do a little bit of that every morning, and a little bit of heel. So walk about on the heels, and then sides of the feet, insides of the feet, and then balls of the feet, bubbling spring. Just to get those feet waking up, and then give the legs a little bit of a shake from the hip, shake the ankle. And again, when we're looking at balance, I think I said on Tuesday that somebody emailed and said, oh, I can't balance. But actually, every little thing we've done today is all about balance. So just be really creative when we come to start the 10-day balance challenge. Right, let's take our feet about hip width apart, and I'll mirror you, and we'll start off just by floating the arms up, just a couple of times. Arms float up, it's like flying, and then down. So this is nice and soft across the body. Float up, soft, and then down, soft. And now shift the weight to the left side of the body, and as you shift to the left, just raise the right knee as the arms float up, and then as the arms float down. Soft landing, and then shift the weight to the right, balance, stabilize nice and strong through that support leg, nice and soft through the arms. Balance. Get into that nice rhythm, and just go side to side. Balance. So strong through the support leg, soft through the upper body, and the other leg. So it's like a crane, bird of crane. Soft Really differentiate the upper and lower body. Upper body is nice and light and soft and lifted towards the sky. Lower body as you land is nice and strong and stable and grounded. The seagulls are making accompanying noises outside. Balance. And rest there. Some really nice stuff going on there on Zoom. It looked excellent actually. Let's progress that a little bit. So I'll show you first and then we'll do it. So same thing, float up, but then you extend the floating leg and kick out. So you hang on, I've done it wrong. So balance, extend the floating leg. So as you balance, you bring your arms together and then you kick out. So if I'm mirroring you, if I'm stabilizing on my left leg, I've got my right hand in front of the left hand, and then I'm just extending, I'm flexing that foot. It doesn't have to be really high. I'm flexing that foot and kicking out. So we're just putting ourselves off balance a bit, but not so off balance that we fall over. So let's have a little go with that. So shift to one side, arms crossed, balance, extend the leg, flex the foot and kick out. And then come back other side. So balance, other arm across, extend the leg and kick out. It's a really nice hamstring stretch. So you kick out and push out. Come back, balance. Strong as he falls over, strong through that support leg. Kick out. Step down, balance. Kick out. Step down, balance. Kick out. Step down, balance. It's looking good, nobody's fallen over yet. Kick out. Keep going, step down, balance. Kick out. It's not about how high can you kick. It wants to be straight leg. You don't want to be leaning back and falling over. Kick out, nice and strong. So soft, strong, soft, strong. Let's do 4 more. Soft, powerful, soft, kick out, balance, strong, kick, balance, strong, kick. Good, well done. That looked great actually on Zoom. Give yourself a little bit of a shake out. And then hands up, overhead as we started off. Bring hands to lower dantian, so just over the lower belly button, or the lower belly button, just underneath the belly button. Step the feet together. If you're comfortable with it, just close your eyes and just allow any movement that your body feels it needs to make. So it may be moving side to side, rocking back and forth, spiraling. Feel grounded and stable and strong through the lower body. And contrast that with the lightness of lifting through the crown, the energy up through the spine, through the crown of the upper body. Follow that thin thread of air through the nostrils, down to your center, down to that lower dantian. And with the belly soft, just feel that natural movement of the belly, so you're not having to do anything. And then on the next inhale, at the top of the inhale, just open your eyes. Bring your awareness back into the space around you. Step your feet out. And shake out a little bit. Give your hands a bit of a rub. Give your belly a little bit of a tap. Just nice and easy. Feel that softness. And we will finish there. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for your time and attention as always. If you're around on tomorrow, we've got a fabulous lunch and learn at 1 o'clock, free webinar with Sheila McNamara. I was speaking to Sheila last night. We were organising this session. It's going to be a fantastic session. She's internationally renowned voice coach and speech coach and breath worker, so she's got some great things to share with you all. She asks that you bring a wine cork. I don't know why, she hasn't told me why. And if you've got a resistance band, so resistance band, anything, we've used these before, or if you've got a yoga strap, or a scarf, because she's going to do some work again in terms of the structure of the diaphragm and the biomechanics of breathing. So certainly if you can, jump in and watch that. If you can't make it, always register, because then you'll always get the reminder of the playback. You'll always get the link to the playback afterwards if you can't make it. So do register, and again, if you can't make it, just jump in and watch the playback. Have a brilliant day. As I say, thank you again for joining me. Hope you all have a fantastic time, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I give you some feedback, Craig?
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let me just finish off.